There are a few lies that you still believe about yourself and they're holding you back. This summer is not just about traveling and sunsets, it's about who you are becoming. And in this video, I want to share with you self-beliefs that you need to stop believing because they're just holding you back. The first one is, I need to feel motivated before I can take action. This is so wrong because you are stuck in this loop where you're just relying on motivation for your success. And motivation is something that changes from day to day, from hour to hour, from minute to minute even, depending on your mood, depending on your hormones even. And this is something we don't even realize, that we as women are influenced by our menstrual cycle, and that influences our mood to a great extent. Motivation is fleeting and unreliable, especially when we are trying to build something for the long term. It is this daily action that reminds you of your motivation and your why you're doing certain things, and that's what keeps you moving. That's what gives you the motivation. So it's a nice positive loop. When you take action, you get the motivation, you see the result, and you start taking action again because you see this nice loop working again and again. Whereas if you just relied on motivation as your only fuel, you realize you will not get that far, because there will be more days when you feel unmotivated than when you feel motivated. And when you don't see your results immediately, which we'll be talking about soon, you will give up. And that's not where you want to end up, right? If you live by this belief that you need to feel motivated to take action, you will not get anywhere, because you will just wait for this moment when you feel this motivation. Imagine there is this special day when you are motivated to, let's say, create a video. You create a video, you upload it, and you don't see an immediate result, because of course we can't just blow up with one video. Our first video is not going to be the perfect one, but if you publish it and you took the action, that gives you motivation and dopamine to create another one, and you're in this nice positive loop when you create content. Whereas if you just upload one video and you expect amazing results, of course you don't see them, so you get stuck and you wait for another round of motivation, and that's why you don't see the result, because there is a lack of consistency. Which is why you can't base your success on motivation, which is so temporary, so fleeting. You will get depressed if you do not see the result immediately, so you need to find a different approach to this, and the best way how to do it is through a consistent action, because consistency is a key to anything. We all think that if we do this thing for long enough, we get to where we want to get, but it's not always the case, because sometimes even consistent action doesn't get us where we want to get, because the action is not the right one that gets us to the goal. So it's really important that we iterate as we do the action again and again, because one thing is doing a thing consistently, and the other thing is ensuring that you're doing the right thing. So consistency is important, much better than motivation and waiting for this moment when we are finally ready, which we'll be talking about soon too. But relying on this action, on action that fuels the motivation, and consistently working towards your goal gets you where you want to get, where you iterate as you go along, because you will see where you need to improve, and because you improve, you get where you want to get. So do not forget that it's action that creates motivation, not the other way around. With every belief that we want to get rid of, I want to give you a practical example which you can apply to your day-to-day life, into your specific situation, and you can see that this is not something magical that, okay, I just wake up one day and I suddenly don't have these beliefs, but by putting them in practice in my day-to-day life, I get where I want to get. Let's say you want to start working out, but you don't know how to start. You just don't feel the motivation. When you imagine yourself in the gym, you just want to go back to bed and do not think about exercise at all. So what you need to do instead, you tell yourself it's going to be just 5 push-ups, or 5 pull-ups, or 5 anything, or 5 minutes stretching. And then you'll see that this 5 movements, 5 minutes of exercise gives you this motivation boost by doing this action, and this will go back to this action loop. So you do what you say you want to do, you get this motivation to continue, and you keep doing the action until you see the result. So try this in any area of your life. Do not wait for the motivation to kick in, because it might not come anytime soon. So you need to rely on something more powerful, which is consistent action. Another really useful strategy I use when I don't find the motivation whatsoever is just get ready method. This means that you prepare yourself for the situation where you will take the action, and then you just start doing it. For example, if you want to go to the gym or you want to start doing any exercise, you prepare your clothes and you just put your clothes on, and you get into the mood by performing the action, so putting on your clothes. Or let's say you don't feel like recording another video. We've been there. Who knows if this session is the most motivated one. I always get the motivation when I sit in the front of a camera and start talking. Until then, when I prepare everything, set up the camera, light, everything, mic, everything needs to be ready, I'm not motivated at all because it takes hours, it takes just a long time to prepare everything. But then when I sit down in front of the camera and start speaking to you guys and sharing this message, that's when I suddenly feel motivation. Why is this happening? Is because I took action. So I really, really want you to take action and do not rely on this external boost of motivation that can come, don't need to come, but when they come, you will see that it's because you took action. The second wrong belief is that if I fail, it proves I'm not good enough. This belief is harmful because it stops you from even trying. You remain in your little comfortable comfort zone, your little area where you feel good about yourself, and you do not push out and you do not try because of your fear of failure. But what does it even mean to be afraid to fail? It means that you don't want to be judged by others. You're not afraid of the failure itself, you're afraid of the feeling that what will others say if you fail. But this is something that's not real. It's something that will not happen, and it might not happen at all, because you might not fail, you might succeed, and then they will look at you with admiration. And what's really important to realize is that if we not even try, we cannot even reach the potential we are meant to achieve. And this is something so powerful. And I watched a great video recently from Dan Martel, and he talked about this, and he said winners lose far more than losers. Losers are losers because they never try. And I found this so motivating, because this means that even if you try and even if you fail, it's not a failure. It's something that proves that you put yourself out there and you tried something that others didn't even dare to try. So please, please, please do not tell yourself something like this, because this just shows that you are capable of doing much more than you initially think you are. Reframing that failure is a feedback rather than a punishment for something you did wrong, you will learn. And this is something what I discussed in the mindset video. So if this is something that's interesting to you, you can check it up here. It was really, really interesting to discuss these different mindset shifts that we need to do. Mindset shifts that you need to do in order to become better and grow every single day. So I really recommend this video. When you start in your brain by reprogramming the way how you approach failure, approach it as a learning opportunity rather than punishment, something that other people will look at you from above and you're a loser. If you reframe this in your brain, you will see opportunities everywhere, because everything is an opportunity to learn. And this can sound cliche, I know, but it just means that it's true, because it's something that other people don't see immediately, because we are all programmed to try to avoid any drama and try to avoid anything that would put us out there for people to see, and we don't want that. But if we do that, we will see how much we can achieve. And I really, really encourage you to try this. This switch in our thinking is something that no one else can do for us, and it's something we need to decide for every single day. Because as I mentioned in the video about mindset is not something that someone can just give you, here you are, just adopt this mindset. This switch in your mindset is something that no one can do for you, and if you do this, you give yourself such an advantage, because it means that you will see opportunities everywhere. If you do it today, you set yourself up for success for the rest of your days. Positive example of this, so we can put this in practice, is imagine someone who applied for 10 jobs and got rejected out of the first 9, and then he might land the 10th offer. But imagine that the person gave up after trying second time, third time, and just not apply for those jobs. Where would he be right now? He would probably not have a job. He would be miserable somewhere, sitting and drinking and crying about not having a job. But if that person didn't try again and again and again, they would not land the 10th job offer, and they would not get maybe their dream job. Rejection doesn't mean failure. I personally had to struggle with this a couple of weeks ago when I applied in 1 week for 4 things. I applied for 1 job position, 1 committee position at my university, and I applied to 2 other events. And it was so interesting. I really wanted to get that. I put so much work into my applications, and then one by one, day by day, Monday to Friday, I received rejections. It hurt for a moment because I was disappointed, of course, that I got rejected. I wanted to get there. But then a minute later, I was like, this is not the way how I'm gonna think. This means that if those offers were not meant for me, okay, I accept that. There is something much better waiting for me. I want you to think in the same way next time you get rejected, or next time you feel like something's not as you really would like it to be. It's okay, just keep trying, because there is nothing like a failure. And if I was sad that, okay, now I'm not in one of those 4 things I really wanted to do, I would not see one other opportunity that came up, and that's gonna be so much better. They were not failures, but valuable experiences I could learn from, and not only learn from, but then use what was not good well enough to make my next application even better. And what's also important, that I really enjoy the process of applying there. So again, journey before destination. When you enjoy the process, the result is just a bonus. So the action point for you is to reframe everything that happens to you, everything that you perceive as a failure at first, as a learning opportunity, and ask yourself, what did I learn from this? This is a reflection question that should run at the back of our minds every single day, because there is nothing worse than if we just go through the life and let pass every opportunity as something that just happens, and we're just going with the flow, just swimming, enjoying our life, and not actually learning from what's happening to us. So reframe every single thing and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? What did it teach me? And what can I do different next time? The third wrong belief is, I am not disciplined enough. This is such a bad one, because success starts in your mind, and what you tell yourself becomes eventually your reality. So if you just tell yourself, I'm not disciplined enough, then yeah, you are not. Your mental preparation for anything determines whether you will succeed or not, because the success starts in your mind through what you feed your brain with. Everything you tell yourself, either out loud or in your mind, subconsciously forms what you give out. And this is something that you can't forget, because if you tell yourself, I'm not disciplined, then you will act like a person who is not disciplined. And I can tell you that disciplined people are not born. It doesn't work like someone is disciplined and someone is not. Discipline is something that you need to build through consistent daily action, and it can sound boring, but that's how it is. That's how it works. And if you want to be disciplined, you just need to do the hard work. You need to make it automatic habit. Discipline must become effortless after a while. If it's something that keeps you grinding, then it's not discipline, but just pushing yourself, some unrealistic expectations you set. But that's not good. You need to build discipline that it's easy. Discipline shouldn't feel hard, and that's what other people think when they tell you, oh, you're a disciplined person, but you are not disciplined. You just built strong habits, and that's what looks disciplined, but it just means that you made systems so easy to perform on a day-to-day basis that they feel effortless. You want to decide to be a disciplined person. And why is this the case? Because if everyone was disciplined, we would all have six-packs, we would all be running ultra marathons, we would all end up in Olympics, but we are not. Why? We can't say that it's because someone is more disciplined than the other. It's because some people decided to do this specific goal, and they found systems to make the action that leads to this goal automatic on a day-to-day basis. They do training, they do recovery. If you're a professional athlete, you know what I mean. Believing that you're not disciplined enough only prevents you from creating these routines and building habits that get you where you want to get, and they will also make you stuck in this fixed mindset where you feel like you will not change because this is who you are. And this is also what I was talking about in the mindset video, so definitely check it out if this is something that's interesting too. So the thing you want to tell yourself next time is that discipline is built, not born. Let's say you struggle to stick to a morning routine. You need to start with easy to complete, one step at a time. So let's say you tell yourself that after drinking 1 glass of water, you read 1 page of a motivational book. And if you do this, then you can make the habit, let's say, longer. So it's gonna be 2 pages, then the whole chapter. Or let's say that after I finish washing my face, I apply the sunscreen, because this is something that I really want to do, because I forget and then I don't wear sunscreen and I want to wear sunscreen. In general, what you need to do is to stick to habits simple enough that they will not feel like a burden for you, but you just stack these habits one on the other and you are suddenly a disciplined person. How come? When you're trying habit stacking, it's important that the habits you stack on each other are ridiculously simple and easy, and you will be consistent, and when you are consistent you can make them harder and harder. But this is how you will build the discipline. There is no other magic. You just follow the habit stacking rule. The fourth wrong belief that you need to ditch this summer is, I'll be happy when I reach my goal. This is very dangerous belief because it gets you dependent on this goal in a very unhealthy manner, because what happens is that once you reach your goal, you will still not be happy because you will feel a constant lack of something. You will base your happiness on something that you either might not meet if it's something too big, or even if you meet it, it might not be enough because you'll start thinking in a bigger picture. Let's say you tell yourself you want to earn 10K per month and you reach that, and then you will base your happiness on 100K a month, and you'll just go higher and higher, but you realize that your happiness is just twisting around these goals you set for yourself. But what's wrong about this is that you are putting yourself around something that's just in your mind and you can actually reach that, but because you're so dependent on it, your whole journey is just so driven by this goal-oriented focus that it just prevents you from living your best life throughout the journey to achieve your goals. And that's so harmful, because that's what holds you back, and that's what might prevent you to reach that goal actually, because you will not be happy as you drive toward that goal. And okay, once you reach that, you will tick it off and let's go to another goal. And this is a dangerous trap to fall into. When you get obsessed with the final result rather than focusing on a journey you go through, you sooner or later realize you are burned out, because you're just ticking things off, going from one thing to another without realizing the beauty of your journey that's so unique, and it doesn't have to be linear. Goals give us a sense of direction and clarity, but we can't misuse them in a way that harms our productivity and personal growth in the long term, because we are just gonna get so obsessed with the goal that we do not enjoy the journey. We need to build our goals based around our lives and based on what we live here and now, rather than letting us being dependent on the goals and ensuring that we are doing everything around that goal. Let the goal go around you. If this is you, the goal should go around you, not the other way around. There is no rocket science in realizing that you need to fall in love with the process in order to do the action consistently enough to meet your goal and get where you want to get. You need to realize that the process is not always smooth. There are ups and downs. You feel good, you feel worse, you feel horrible. There are just days when you just want to quit and you want to stop doing everything. But this is when you need to go back to, okay, is my daily consistent action something that I really truly believe in and my why is strong enough for me to continue doing it? Or do I just want to focus on this one goal that I might not even reach if I'm doing the wrong thing, or if I'm basing my happiness on these abstract things? An action tip for you when it comes to this belief to replace it with something positive is to create a joy list. And this is something I started recently, but it really helps me keep going. On the joy list can be small joys of life, such as having your favorite sweet treats, or having a coffee with a friend, or to have a face mask, something like this. In my joy list, I also put screenshots of nice messages from my friends, emails from my teachers, some nice encouraging comments from you guys, and this is something that makes me keep going, that reminds me of why I'm doing what I'm doing, and this makes me get from fixating on my goals and something I want to achieve to where I am right now and what I can do today to get where I want to go, but enjoying the process as much as possible. Going back to these reminders makes me keep going, because I realize what's important for me, why I'm doing what I'm doing, and it gives me energy, a lot of motivation, and then I take action, and then we are here when I'm sitting and recording this video. I really hope this joy list that's very unique to you will motivate you and reframe your happiness from something far in the future when I achieve my goals to something that can be lived here and now. Belief number 5 is people are always judging me. This belief wastes your energy pleasing other people instead of creating your own path and leads to inauthentic living. Not only that, you deplete yourself of this precious energy that you can instead invest into creating your best life, becoming better every single day, creating valuable habits that build your discipline, and so much more. And you quit all this because of what other people think of you. If you haven't heard of spotlight effect, then this applies to this wrong belief all the time, because people tend to overestimate how much other people think about their appearance and their behavior and action, and we think everyone is just looking at every single small step of our lives, but in reality, no one cares. No one cares. And this should be a liberating piece of information for you, because it means you can start living your best life without having fear that other people will judge you. If they do, it's their waste of energy, their waste of time, and it can't affect you in any way, because you know what you're doing. You know why you do it, you know who you are doing it for, and there's nothing that can stop you and preventing you from becoming your best self. Let them judge you, let them talk bad things about you, because you are your authentic self and you want to create, you want to grow, you want to become your best version, and no one can stop you. So do not be constrained by your self-consciousness. You created it for yourself, and it just prevents you from getting things done, things that you have always dreamt of doing. If people do care when they see what you're doing, they will become either your supporters that will give you this extra motivation push to keep doing things again and again, or you just don't have to care at all about what other people think. You are as free as you can imagine. So if you tell yourself that no one really cares and you can do whatever you want, only your imagination is your ceiling. If your dreams are big enough, you can achieve them if you do not let opinions of others influence your own way, how you want to achieve your things. So next time, tell yourself, everyone else is focused on themselves, not me. I'm not gonna hold back just because I think others are watching. Next time you'll feel judged, ask yourself, what if no one is watching at all? Have you ever walked into the room so self-conscious that now everyone is looking at you, everyone is judging you, when in reality everyone is just minding their own business? That's the spotlight effect. An action tip for you is that next time you feel judged, ask yourself, what if no one notices at all? Or even better, what if someone gets inspired by my action and shows up too? I didn't want this video to be too long, so I decided to split it into 2 parts. So if you enjoyed this first one, definitely give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you will not miss the second part next week. If it's already up on this channel, you can check it up here. And I really hope you enjoyed the video. I really hope you will reprogram your brain and you ditch all these horrible wrong beliefs you have about yourself this summer. Let me know in the comments down below which one resonated with you the most, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you in the second part of this video. Bye!